first time. I finally had to, I came home and I was sick.
Yeah.
And I had another, just old, like, running after another.
Always just.
So I'm like, I've got to do it, I have to do this. I get on there and I'm like, well, that's part of the course. Take work, it's always like 3 days, let's just look at
The funny thing is I still haven't even completed mine, so.
I will say that I enjoyed it marginally better than what I do at McKesson. I really love that,
Gain a
the
couple
second one was like, a game show,
Oh, is it?
like Jeopardy.
Okay.
So,
I've done that one
yeah,
yet,
so you just have to get so many points and then you're done. They're like, oh, you're done, do you wanna keep playing? I'm like, no.
I guess there's something to look forward to
Yeah.
tomorrow, that
Yeah.
if I get to it, I won't get to it tomorrow.
It was like,
There's a song
maybe
about
20
the
minutes.
sun will come out
Wasn't
tomorrow.
Right.
I hope it's right.
I don't know. It's just not 20 minutes in a day.
Oh, I see, there's,
You can,
I
They're
felt like
different
the
colors, I think.
carpenters and rainy days and Mondays.
there you go, it's another one.
But like this one,
Are you gonna be gone on
that,
Memorial Day?
you know,
No, I'll be around here. I
This is
typically
what
go
you
to
do.
the city
Look over your shoulders.
Yeah,
function.
yeah, to
take
keep
that
that.
out, I mean, that
Morning.
becomes raceway. We gotta-
yeah, it's like,
My mother-in-law has a house up on.
Not that you and I ever drove,
yeah.
right?
No, never. Well, I was thinking, are
weather's
they
nice.
just thinking
So
of taking
which-
these two
Well,
out?
Well, it looks like these were 2024, because they're lighter color.
I moved my
I don't
company
know.
to Sunday.
And then they
because
showed
here.
these two up
Both of
close,
them
like
had
there
a
were
little
like two
iffy to
more
'em,
parking
but-
spaces, so that's
Yeah.
how I read
If
it.
it gets really bad, I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
push to the next
Yeah,
one.
here we
Yeah.
go.
We'll
Those are
see.
kind of funny little deals.
Yeah, they
I
are,
just
yeah.
drove by
Not
there.
a
and it's
big
just-
agenda.
yeah, It's kinda like an
Even,
afterthought.
and even in the
Not as full
summertime,
today.
you're there.
No, I was reading the minutes again, I thought, oh my gosh, that man, the developer with all the
Yeah.
park situation, and it's
Yeah.
hard to
You
just,
just might as well make.
I never
Yeah,
got
just
an
make
it out
use
and
of
make
it,
it
yeah.
address for that park he was talking
Well,
about.
and I like the idea of having.
I think I'll
two
ask
more
her that
parking
tonight
spots.
yet.
Sounds like, does it really do anything? But it is two more parking spots.
Yeah.
It's so involved, it's hard to understand exactly what, so when I read back that we had already seen that and agreed
Yeah,
to one,
the thing I was.
I thought,
talking to Sue about is that, you know, that gets
maybe
to
I'll
be
go
quite
back
a
and look
big
at that idea.
Yeah, it's like all the way this way and
Fast
this way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
slow
but
that
they,
down.
they redid these, and I
Yep.
think they're thinking of just redoing this like sodding
I'm
and stuff.
trying to figure
Cause I
out.
think that's the reason why
One
it's
of the
all
issues
in
is-
there,
Yes.
right? To
Like
make
it's one of
those,
That'd be my guess.
Hockey association.
make it harder
They're
to.
really trying to grow that program, but one of the issues.
Now, they got them
is
stretch out to
access.
2027, so I wonder what,
You know, and if
I didn't look at my screen, I just printed these bad boys. What color?
summer,
I don't
This
think
is
they have a
later?
close-up of those, do
kids,
they?
there's summer
No, and on my,
hockey.
oh wait, on the computer screen
It's
here.
like, I learned to
could
play
see the-
hockey
if it's-
on road,
okay,
like an
where-
outdoor road rink. I
Oh,
learned
where
it
is
on
that
road.
now?
So it's like.
Lakeside landscaping.
Well, you get right
See,
here.
out there, you look at you go.
Oh,
Look at it go.
Keep going, there you go.
There we go.
Okay, so pink was already done. Blue is for the summer though, so then it is those, it is this right here.
To put down a concrete slab.
green.
Put down the roller floor. In the winter time, they just
2026.
put the turf over
Yeah,
it.
see, I think that big blue one should stay just for traffic control.
That's not
Those
used
two little
anymore.
ones.
Yeah, I
you-
wonder.
You can take the
Last
parking
year,
spot, you know,
well,
put
this
add
past
parking
winter.
spots there.
The winter before,
Nice if we could have speed bumps in Minnesota, you know?
Huh?
Be nice if we could have speed bumps.
We do.
Can't we?
Wait, they are, they got them at my sister's trailer park, I know that.
Yeah, I mean,
They
this
bought
would,
'em here.
this would be a good spot for
two
speed
rings
bumps, I
that
would
are
think, especially going into that,
49 weeks.
one
Right.
way.
Yeah,
I love that this is one way this way and not one way that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
But a lot of people don't
Not really.
realize that.
Right.
They don't know what those arrows really mean.
Right.
That's why
Yeah.
it's like, what?
On that skate horizontally.
Yeah, I would,
But that's
I
new
wonder.
too. That's.
Chelsea's
only been
really
there
improved the
a couple years,
basketball
being one way.
situation, my
Yeah.
goodness. But,
Huh.
when's the rest starting?
Yeah, one way to slow down the traffic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I finally saw what he was talking
It's
about.
better roundabout.
It's slowed down.
Yeah.
There you go. You gotta go through a roundabout to launch your boat.
Yeah, they'll all be happy about that, yeah.
I watched people go zzz, trying to boat. Thinking,
Trying to
oh,
have, like,
now we gotta go through a roundabout.
Central.
Do backwards, do backwards.
Get the basketball.
The people that live in those condos right there, that's
Yep.
half their fun on a
Yeah, they
sunny
sit there on
day.
the patio
They
and
just
watch.
sit on the
Yeah.
patio and watch the people try to get their
Oh,
boats
Well,
in
if
the
we can
water.
raise the funds for.
Yeah, I've got a girlfriend that has
I've, so it's been nice for the kids growing
Whatever,
every year. They get
shoreline or whatever.
Nice.
But they
And
do a
that's
lot of
those
work,
programs.
charity programs and
Girls
stuff
have
like that.
You need a manager out there to.
So it's part of the
Big one
Foundation
sounds
out in
four
the
axes
scenario.
Who do you guys work with? You guys
We can raise the money.
I don't need it. I wish they would do
It
that.
doesn't need to wait till.
Having two lanes.
Two lanes in the middle.
Now that people understand what they're doing,
Well, I don't know.
We wait way too long.
right?
Or put,
Like the chemicals are.
I was so happy to put the sign on established.
wave, you know.
Please.
Wait, you know, say it.
Yeah, I saw that the other day.
Then I get the calls, okay, that's great news, now when? And I said, no,
Yeah,
not exactly
yeah.
sure. I will ask
So,
you.
well, my kids go to Leland, so I drive past it.
I live right down the road from it, so I go out of my house, I see it every day.
I keep waiting
Yeah.
to see like when they have been down and first.
And I know
Oh, yeah, they just say, yeah, in case they overlap, I suppose it's
Right.
easier to get out now than it is on a curve.
well, it sounds like a good one.
I was talking to him and after we can switch her.
Miles an hour, you got people just stopping, creeping out in there, it's like, I'm in the water. Yeah.
The city just got a hash drop space for it.
Right. I would say that we should do lights there so that you can see on the other side of that, cause you don't know why it stopped up, right? So then you're flashing, and if the flashing goes on, you know, oh, there's, or if it was flashing and you were coming around, it might catch your eye. Sometimes you're going through, and there's so much going on down there.
Maybe the mom or
Yeah, you can, and pedestrians need to
That's why the five of us.
enter with caution in that thing, cause it's a lot going on.
And you can't be lying to your public, saying it was coming, it's coming.
I don't know if Don's coming tonight, so you might be.
Yeah, they could,
You're in
yeah.
debt.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Right in the
because
middle
I
of
don't know
the-
actually one's name.
The one over by the high school, I, get up and I run in the morning, and that one, boy, I tell you what, people coming 97,
Oh,
heading
instead
to
of
work,
having a
not
roll
even
call?
watching, but I've got the lights going on, I'm like,
So have you noted the records,
That needs speed bumps.
the participants?
I know better now. Somebody's way down the road, I still record making sure, do they say so?
Yeah.
Better be on my fast part of my run.
Yeah, it's probably could not let you know if he wasn't
Well,
coming.
and I'm wondering if you tried to reach out to Kyle, and Kyle's on vacation.
Oh,
So maybe.
that answers my question, why it's Dave, Dave, Dave. See that, you always have good answers, even when I don't ask the question.
That's the man in charge of the lady that knows it all.
Yeah.
And I was gonna run over and talk to the, all right, we got a few more minutes.
Eighth Avenue lights.
Mhm.
Seven cars.
Yeah, they-
I'm supposed to remember to speak into the mics.
I mean, it's red. It's not like it's red as a gift there. It's like red and I go through it.
yeah. Where's,
Yeah,
what's his name? Don?
She just mentioned, that maybe he isn't gonna make it, cause it's getting pretty
Tell
close.
us at 5:30, yeah. Who's in charge then?
We'll give him a couple of minutes just in case.
Okay. Didn't get an email or anything.
I didn't, but he might have emailed Kyle, and Kyle's way up north, so I don't know if he gets.
Way up north. Oh, where it's
Well,
like
there's a lot of
snowing.
road construction
Yeah.
that's slowing people
Oh.
down, so that could be it.
And Memorial Day is coming up, so some people are,
Oh, yeah.
it's Monday, Karen.
What day is it today? Wednesday, yeah.
I knew it was Monday, I just didn't know you had a lot of days after Monday. You're telling me we're gonna pick up the city or some, yards on the 29th. I
The
said,
31st, and she's like, the weekend of Memorial Day, I'm like, Memorial Day is this
No,
weekend, Karen.
it's a little earlier.
She's like, well, that's good, cause I'm having people in my house on Memorial Day, I'm like, what's this Monday? Not the following.
I better get ready. No, I knew it was coming, but then where did all those days come after Memorial Day? Calendar's been a crazy mess. Mixed up.
And my granddaughter goes to Brainerd schools. Friday's her last day of school.
Yeah,
All done. Yeah,
do they start before Labor Day?
I think so. Seems like it
I know,
was-
we start after the day.
Oh, do I have to have that
Labor
little
Day
hammer and
until
everything?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, yeah, we go to state
official?
Okay.
Give me the hammer, it could be all done.
Oh, are you the vice chair?
He didn't adjourn.
Oh, yeah, you're in charge then. Yep.
It was a quick meeting.
Big
That was a
decisions
quick
tonight,
meeting.
Karen. We got big decisions tonight, Jerry.
Yeah,
I just adjourned the meeting, didn't you hear me?
Yeah.
She hasn't even started it, she's adjourning.
Second.
We got a second over here.
Aye.
Oh, yes.
I think he's a man of on time. I think we should start.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's gonna be here.
No.
He would have been here by now, I think. Oh, geez, yeah. Crazy.
I was thinking they should designate
Where's the flag around here?
east-west the next year. They should go.
Hopefully it's fairly quick. Seems
I
like
think-
they're getting there pretty quickly.
He's usually.
I think you can go ahead and get her started, Karen.
Yeah.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Park and Recs Commission to order, and in absence of our chair, I'll be running the meeting tonight. Jolene, could you please make note of the participants
I will,
for the
thank
roll
you.
call? And if everyone else could join for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda, could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And now we're down to the open forum. We have a couple people here, but Jolene, have anyone asked to speak tonight?
I don't believe so. I think we've got our liaisons. Did you want to speak?
I did actually,
Oh.
but we can do it when we talk about FLOC later too.
Okay, I think that's fine. And then this gentleman is here to speak on an agenda item and provide the commission with some information, so he will come up when Dave touches on that item.
Okay.
Okay.
Then we'll move to the approve the meeting minutes that were sent out, if everyone had a chance to read them. They were quite lengthy. I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
I'll
Is there
second.
a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 And all opposed. Next on the agenda, we have Dave Adams, who will let us know about Let's Go Fishing, recreation opportunity discussion.
Good evening, everyone. Kyle kind of put all this stuff together, so I'm going to do my best to work through this for Kyle, at least on this one. I'm sure you read the staff report. Big part of the master plan for Parks and Rec was to get more community involvement or activities and stuff, especially around the lake. Mark, who's in a tennis net, reached out to Kyle a little while back, and they have been talking back and forth of starting this partnership opportunity called Let's Go Fishing. I can go through a lot of this, but I think the best person to talk about this will be Mark. He runs this program. We have a video that you guys can watch, and I don't need to read back probably what you already read. So
That'd be great.
unless you have any specific questions for me, I kind of like to hand it over to Mark, and he can kind of go from there and play us a video, and you guys can ask him some questions.
Great. If that's okay with anyone, we'll welcome Mark.
Hi. My name's Mark Rangish. I work with Let's Go Fishing. So we have 15 chapters in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And Kyle had contacted us about becoming part of the strategic plan. Perfect timing. We're looking to expand, particularly in the Twin Cities area. Last year, we took out 15,000 people fishing and boating for free that would not have any opportunity now. So these are seniors, handicapped, veterans, disabled, on handicapped accessible pontoons, youth groups, fishing groups. There's programs that we have that we do with like the 5th grade at one particular chapter. The whole 5th grade goes out fishing for the day. They rotate through for a couple hours, an hour or 2 hours of fishing, picnicking, and DNR joins for some of them. Other ones are sponsored by the fire department or the police department or both separately in the case of Eden Prairie. And kids go out and they're given fishing rods and all that good stuff. But particularly in the Twin Cities area, there's almost 5,000 people that the Eden Prairie chapter takes out on their 3 boats. It's on a small lake. We want to grow that. We have a chapter on St. Croix that's pretty well maxed out. There's one north of here, we call it East Central, has a boat on Rush Lake and one on Chisago. So, you know, based on the group, we opened the calendar like this month. The customers, organizations, groups, sign up call. Most of them locally are booked in 2 days for the season. So there's a lot of demand opportunity. The funding comes from local businesses. There's a variety of different fundraisers. We could talk about that. But we have a video we could show you that's it's 3 minutes. It shows an example of a trip that goes out. One of the interesting things about this video was someone contacted us once and said, hey, can I take some pictures of you guys going out on a trip with my drone, and I'll give them to you. So this guy mails us on a zip drive video. But it's a great example of the community involved. There's about 1,000 volunteers, high retention rates. For example, the East Central chapter, 113 volunteers. The biggest issue we have is most of them start doing this when they retire, so they age out. But there's a variety of things we've done to extend that and keep that going. People love it. The volunteers love it. They think it's one of the most engaging things they did in their career. And these are people that were for everything from former legislatures, vice presidents of companies, to anyone else you would ever meet. It's a cross-section of everything. So let me just play this.
Let's Go Fishing is a non-profit 501c3 corporation with over 20 chapters in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Our East Central Minnesota chapter, formerly the North Branch chapter, was established in 2004 by a group of especially dedicated volunteers. We have been taking seniors, veterans, youth, and disabled individuals out on our handicapped accessible pontoon for more than 14 years. Our newest pontoon is docked at Flickerbird's Resort on East Rush Lake in Rush City, Minnesota. Our Rush Lake boat has scheduled outings Monday through Thursday from 9 to 11 a.m., 11:30 to 1:30 p.m., with 2 additional trips on Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. We depart from a handicapped accessible dock, thanks to Flickerbirds, on a pontoon that can accommodate up to 8 guests, 2 of which can be in wheelchairs. Many of our guests are residents of nursing homes, assisted living residents, group homes, and individuals, both old and young, from the North Branch, Cambridge, Forest Lake, Chisago City, Rush City, Pine City, and areas beyond. Also due to the generous grants and donations of our sponsors, since 2016 we've been able to provide a second boat. This boat, now our original pontoon, serves the Chisago Lakes area and departs from Chisago Lake. This boat can also accommodate 8 guests, 2 of which can be in wheelchairs. And like our Rush Lake boat, this boat is also available for outings Monday through Thursday, with scheduled outings from 9 to 11 a.m. and 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. If you would like to join us on an outing, you may either sign up as an individual or as a group. Whether you are interested in fishing or just want to spend a couple hours on the lake, we would love to have you join us.
I'm just going to end it. It's about 3/4 done, just so you can get a flavor. So what we do is all online in terms of volunteers can volunteer online. The boat schedules and event schedules that we have are online. Customers, clients, organizations sign up for the time slots they want. Volunteers volunteer for the time slots they want. It's quite flexible. It's kind of being engaged with your strategy and bringing a chapter here as part of this would just be a great fit. It would be a great fit for us. That's a great introduction to the, the locale in terms of being here. Kyle and I talked about lots of ideas of how we could approach it. But I just wanted to give you, I'm on 4 different boards, and I want to be respectful of your time. But I could go on and on. And I just wanted to give you a flavor, say thanks for the opportunity. It's really a good fit. And any questions that you guys have now or anytime, feel free to reach out.
So I had a question on the volunteers, about how many volunteers does it take to, if you were to, bring in a boat, what kind of volunteer needs to do that for the summer, for those 2 rides?
Yeah, ideally, if I think about it in terms of ideally the start of a chapter, a couple people from the community that are really engaged, and then advertising with the local papers for volunteers, the fact that we want to start up a chapter. And it would not be too difficult to find 20 chapters, or 20 people pretty quickly and get something rolling.
So about 20.
And it's a lot of it is, word of mouth, so the customers, clients, and the volunteers generate more of all of the same. So it's a relatively small number you can start. And these boats are now 28 feet long. They're all bigger. We have relationships with TNC pontoons. They build custom-made boats. Relationships with Mercury. So the equipment is relatively new and refurbished. So.
Mark, I think maybe you or someone from your organization gave a presentation to the Rotary here in Forest Lake, and it was well received, and again, that didn't go off yet, but thanks to Kyle, I think my comment would be, it sounds like an amazing thing to help our community use our lakes more, and especially the people that you service. But anyone else have any questions?
That pontoon boat, I'm looking in here in the analysis that the city would be responsible for purchasing a boat for it?
Well, the chapter.
The chapter is, okay. And is it parked on a dock always in Forest Lake?
Yeah, ideally, that's a great history of what happened on locations of boats. But yeah, ideally, location on the lake with our boat, for example.
Our boat club?
Someone that had a dock or a local owner. So that's what we've done. Most of the other chapters, it's located at like that one. One's located at Flickerbirds on Rush. Other one's located on Chisago at someone's house. The volunteers pick it up, go to the public boat launch and meet the groups there. So, and that's another thing that makes it a lot easier. To think that you're gonna drive a 35-foot long thing every day and launch it and find volunteers with more than a half-ton truck to bring it in and out was difficult. But we've extended it so far as a lot of the chapters have their electric boat lifts, the boats are on them. The volunteers have much easier than what existed 6 years ago.
Dave, we have Shields Lake, and they have a fishing pier there. In our discussion, maybe we could look at that as a possibility.
You can't put a motorized boat out there.
Oh, that's right, but they do catch a lot of sunnies.
Be a lot of paddling.
We forgot about that.
But there's a lot of opportunities, like Kyle had suggested. One of the first things he said, I'll go talk to your boat, our boat club, whatever, which I hadn't even thought of. I know a few other places that there might be on the lake, but it's just a great example of just in one conversation with them, the ideas were flowing, they're there,
Mhm.
and it's an opportunity.
So do you have a plan for like a introduction to community or a media?
No, we don't so much have immediate, but we do have from an infrastructure perspective of how to run a chapter, how to start it up, a budget plan, and they're all like for launching high-end, large-scale things. And it does not have to be anything high-end to start out. But if you're starting it a year ahead of time, that's a lot of lead time. So there's the point is, there's lots of alternatives.
Yeah.
It certainly is interesting. What does anyone think about further discussion on it that we could have as far as you're saying, the budget and the timing and all that? We'd have to have all of that information.
Yeah,
But are you interested in pursuing it?
I'm all for it. I
Yeah,
think
I am too.
it's a good fit for the development of Forest Lake and the,
When Kyle contacted me, when we talked about it, I thought, I don't think we would ever have an opportunity that fits so well.
yeah,
So, and he has all that stuff, in terms of, so we can continue to work that out and ferret out some details. And we've got a variety of different people. I used to run the East Central chapter, so that was Rick, the president of the East Central chapter that came and talked.
Okay.
Because that chapter has people that live here that would be happy to not have to go up there.
Well, and we have-
volunteer. So, and some of the
Coach their
custom,
volunteers.
but it's like our opportunity is the goal is to expand. And, there's just a lot of synergy.
Well, from the looks of it, you have a lot of head shaking yes here, that it sounds great. And we do have a Good Samaritan group in Forest Lake that likes to volunteer for things like this. And so I don't know exactly the next move, how we put it together to have you back or talk to the city council.
No, so our recommendation that is just to give us staff direction to continue this on, work on a better implementation plan to try to find sources of funding for that, for a boat, for fishing tackle, for fuel, for all that stuff, to try to line up volunteers to kind of take that next step. We just don't want to spend a bunch of time doing this and all of a sudden somebody wants to donate a boat, but then the commission doesn't want to have anything to do with this. So I think we're just making sure everybody, the group as a whole or majority wants us to continue to pursue this before, just instead of wasting time, I guess.
That's why I like it too. I mean, it's like, every conversation has been about the right thing, the right questions. And I'm amazed by the ideas that came out.
Generated.
So
It looks like we'll move it on, and we certainly appreciate you coming out and giving the information. It's amazing, the volunteers that you've got together and what
Yeah,
they'll do
and
for others.
The only other thing I can think, if we go forward, if you think about who's some right people in the community we can engage to, like, for sure the Lions, the VFWs, the American Legion, all those kinds of groups we would, but, any other one, this is food for thought. An introduction there to accelerate that and help that is
So-
the difference between quick success and like,
Do a good job. Thank you for coming.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mark.
So we're on number,
Do we need to make a motion? Is
No,
that
just,
something?
just direction for staff to continue on, which I saw your heads nodding, so that is
Makes sense.
all we needed, and
I'm gonna give you.
and as I said, you've got head shaking from Rotary too.
yeah,
Rotary was very impressed with
yeah,
it,
I
and
think it's really a good,
so we can make a joint thing.
good move to step forward with the implementation.
Yeah, high
Yep.
school fishing.
so our
team.
next, and there's kind of a lot to unpack here, as you can kind of see, there's getting interest in trying to find donors and working through a location, all that, so in the meantime, Kyle, and I'm sure we'll work with Mark as well too, to kind of, with his assistance, and at a later date in the upcoming commission meeting, we should have a better plan or a better, layout of what we've kind of worked on.
Well, thank you. I now have to give up my hammer because our chair is here, and we'll be on number 8.
Thank you.
Oh, the power has been took away.
Number 8.
I'm sure you were really good with that hammer.
I like the hammer.
Sorry I was late, everybody. All right. Number 8, Lakeside Landscaping Recommendation. Dave?
Yep, so, you read through this, the map is probably a better place to start. So Public Works has kind of been working through the Lakeside parking lot of, used to be all the dead trees and just a lot of bad landscaping. So, last year we did, those areas circled in purple, we put in 8 coffee trees, redid the fabric, redid the mulch. And then this year, we're adding turf to that blue area, more mulch, more trees. The green areas next year, kind of more by the boat landing, and then 27 going to the east roundabout, or the East Broadway roundabout, and along that fence line. So we kind of have everything lined up for this year except for that one section. Right now, there's kind of like low-grow sumac in that area. It looks kind of ratty. Regardless, something has to be done. Kind of laid out 3 options. We could just replace the landscaping how it is, put it back in. The other one is to turn it to sod, so we would mow it, so at least it wouldn't go over the sidewalks and look a little cleaner. And then that third option would be to just eliminate the landscaping itself and add 2 parking lots, or 2 parking spots. One reason being it would kind of uniform the parking lot, because the lower one doesn't have that landscaping in it, so it would look the same. And 2 spots are 2 spots right down there. It's 2 spots, doesn't seem like a lot, but you're adding 2 more parking locations for the landscaping that really doesn't jump out at you anyway. So really, what we're looking, staff was leaning towards doing those parking lots, and we're just, being that it's in the municipal lot with Lakeside Park, we're just kind of hoping that we can get a recommendation to go with our gut and continue doing that. But also looking for other opinions, or if the commission would like to see something else happen there.
Comments, questions?
I'm in support of parking spots.
We're definitely
Yeah,
in
so
one.
you're just, that's the minimum that you're looking at, is making parking spots out of those, just pull that sod out and,
Yeah, we'd remove the landscaping and the curb ribbon, and then just re-pour the curb ribbon up against the sidewalks, and then pavement blacktop. But it'll all be done by Public Works. We won't hire anybody else, so it would be internal work.
Karen?
What happened to the pavers?
What was that?
They've been removed? I honestly have not been down there, but I know we talked, they were
have.
removed.
Oh,
and-
down by where the ice heave was?
Right.
Yep, they were all, the city council voted to get rid of all the pavers and put blacktop in there as replacement. The master plan for the park redevelopment does not have that paver trail there anyway.
My question is, did they save the pavers?
275 of them, the
Okay.
ones that were personalized. So we have them on a pallet, and then once we get seasonal staff and it quits raining and we can catch up on mowing, we'll find spots where the pavers still exist, of empty ones, and put them back in.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I like the parking spot ideas. 2 spaces is 2
Option number
spaces
3.
down there. Yeah.
Do you need a motion, Dave, or?
Yeah, just a motion to recommend going with option 3 would be more than enough.
I make a motion, go with option 3.
Second?
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
all right. You're still up, Dave. Just like, it says baseball softball, so that's appropriate. You're up to bat.
Yeah, up to bat.
Good one.
Cindy, would you like to speak after I kind of give? Okay. So, kind of a lot of history here at Fenway Fields. for a long time, FLA pretty much took care of all the maintenance out there. They did the mowing, the irrigation, the dirt, chalking, pretty much the whole thing. And slowly, last 5 to 10 years, the city has been taking some of that back. So it started with, we took the irrigation back, did a bunch of repairs and got that running. And then a year or so after that, we contracted out mowing to a contractor. We did that for 2 seasons. And then the year after that, Public Works took over the mowing of the entire complex. So what's left and what FLA has continued to do throughout this whole thing is do field maintenance. So dragging the fields, chalking for games, that stuff for basically field prep. They reached out to Kyle and said they would really prefer not to be doing that dirt work going forward in 2026, which leaves us in a situation where we need to figure out how that is done. So there's basically 3 options. The Public Works can take that on, be hiring staff and buying equipment to do that. There's an option of contracting that out, to a third party to do that work. There are third parties that do that kind of work. Or just local entities that will provide it, maybe the school district or something where there's a shared service or a paying them to do that. So there's money involved in all 3 of those options. And there's pros and cons to all those options. If it's in-house with Public Works, you have an eye on what you're doing, but then you're adding staff. If you contract it out, you can write a check, but then you're not paying attention to what's out there. And then a local entity, at one point there was a shared service, right, where we have a lot of equipment to mow, they have a lot of equipment to do field prep. Maybe there's a opportunity there where you could split services. None of this we haven't reached out to private contractors, we haven't had discussion with the school, and we haven't approached city council about needing to hire staff and buying equipment. So really what Kyle and I are looking for is some type of direction of, if you want us to explore all of them, if there's one absolutely we don't want to look at, or if there's one for sure we want to look at. That's my spiel, and I don't know if Cindy would like to add on to that or comment, or if I've hit it on the mark about what I said.
I think that's good. Our concern would be the sports, and having to charge them even more than what they're already paying. So that would be, we're doing the work, this year, and just kind of keeping tabs on, really closely the finances, making sure that the sports are accurately reflecting when they're actually using the fields, like obviously yesterday and today canceled. It's a little wet out there. So we're just trying to figure out exactly, what that would look like. We kind of play about the same number of games every year and that kind of stuff. So, obviously that's our concern, would be making sure that it's a fair price. If, we've got to double their costs, that's not going to be great for people in town. But we've been working with Kyle and just exploring a lot of different opportunities or different options in the time being. So kind of our year of experience this year.
Karen, you have a question?
I do. The third option is the one that I think makes more sense for everybody on both sides, but I'm always concerned about FLA's opinion on things. The school does have the opportunity and the know-how. You hire people to come in part-time, they don't really have the know-how again. I think we ran into that a while back where it wasn't done properly, and not by the school, but by a third party. So again, I'd have to hear more about what you think, because didn't the school and the city have kind of a shared vision?
I mean, we work closely with the school, because we use their fields as well.
It seems.
Cindy, because this is televised, would you step up to the microphone? 'Cause otherwise, sorry.
That's okay.
Cindy, do you want to, I had the mic kind of angled, do you want to just, thank you.
It's my favorite. Okay.
Thank you.
So what happened to that? It's not being done that way now? FLA's taken it over completely?
No, FLA has always managed the fields, take care of the trash
Right.
and the dirt and chalk it for the games and that kind of stuff. But, that was kind of Al Haugie's, his baby, I guess, if you want to say it like that. And it's just increasingly more, he had the opportunity to go out there during the day and take care of all that. And it's just, we don't have someone who can do that on a regular basis. So Greg got nominated this year to kind of oversee
Good
the.
job.
Yeah.
Good job, Greg.
To oversee the youngsters who are doing the actual work.
The tricky part, and I know FLA and the school district and myself know this too, it's not a perfect seasonal job, right? Because you start in like end of March, early April, and it goes till, if you have fall ball, it's going into October. So
Yeah.
your easy solution was hire some college kids who start in June and they work through Labor Day and problem solved. But that works for that little part, but the heavy part is in April, and that getting fields ready and prepping it. So that's the tough part where I think even the school district, it's hard to justify a full-time position to work outside those windows, but you don't have, staff to work that. So that's where it gets tricky, where, it's maybe a full person combined with all of us, but it's not really one person for each one.
Certainly seems, Dave, like as you recommend, a full analysis is needed with all the options. Otherwise,
Cost analysis.
I would think if you throw out an option now, somebody might ask, why didn't you look at that? Because you've got 3 parties involved here, and it is complicated.
What do neighboring municipalities do?
There's some that just hire a third party. Where I'm from, they just pay some guy with a truck and a drag, and he does all the fields, and he gets paid X amount of dollars per field, and that's the way it goes. I don't know a lot of other youth ones how that goes. I'm sure some are in-house with, some cities have a parks department, right? And a guy that works for me, he worked in North St. Paul, and that's what they did. They went and did all their 28 fields, or every day they went and did all of them. So it's all over the board. It'll come down to staffing, and a lot of it's, what did you always do? Just kind of like this. FLA has always done this, right? And now there's going to be a change, and I agree with Commissioner. It's probably worth looking at all 3 of them. And the good thing is it's May of '25, and they have already let us know that they really don't want to do this in '26. So we have a decent amount of time to figure this out. All of us have budgets though too, so we have time, but we don't have a lot of time. Especially if it requires hiring staff or buying equipment, at least, in the city, and we need to know that by September. And the school district has probably passed their time already. But, and FLA has their year in October, November, right, for your, so we have a couple months. That's more than that's better than nothing, right? So. And to her point, Kyle's been working with the school and with FLA, kind of coming over scenarios. We're all aware this was gonna happen at some point. So I don't think we're starting from scratch, but it's probably dialing in these numbers a little better and really having the serious conversation versus the hypothetical of, well, what if this happened and we had to do this? Now it's, okay, this is happening, and not duplicating work, because sometimes I feel we're a bunch of groups here in the city doing the same thing, just if we could figure out how to do it a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah, it seems to make sense to try to centralize it when we've got more than one park.
Right.
With
Yep.
Cullen Camp and,
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Fenway, but we also have Cooling Camp, and if fields grow and improving, you have Schilling and even Belts Park and all the school district fields. And I mean, right now, they schedule, the school fields and city fields are all kind of scheduled in the same pool. So they're already kind of transitioning that way to, it's all one system, but we all maintain them differently. Because right now, FLBA does their own fields out at Coolant Camp. And then FLA does the fields at Fenway, and the school district does their fields, and the city does like Schilling and Belts, just with a broom drag. So 3 different people are doing the same thing right now, too.
There again, that must have changed, because I think the school took it all over because they knew the school schedule, and they were a FLA schedule, and instead of having a lot of different people schedule those fields, it seemed to be all centralized at one time. That's not
The work or the scheduling?
the scheduling of the fields.
Oh, yeah, we had worked with them, but, you know, I mean, Corey can speak to that too. If we were not, I can't remember exactly what it was, what we were gonna be paying to use that scheduling this year. Do you remember?
I don't recall off the top of my head. Yeah, the scheduling, so we did, the school district took over the scheduling we did the scheduling last year, and the year before, through our school's software, and then we centralized that. Kyle has since, coming into his new position, now that the city stole him from us.
I know, lucky us.
Good, it's a win for to keep him in the community, certainly. But he's taken the scheduling back on now, that because he has a handle of it, so he also didn't feel like it was necessary for the city to be charged if something he could take on. So the city now is scheduling their own fields in a heavy collaboration with the school district, because there's a lot of crossover.
Right.
FLA utilizes both facilities. The school will go out and utilize Fenway, and there's certainly a lot of overlap there.
Well, and I don't want to say that any of them aren't good, they're all good fields, but we have to all admit that FLA is our premium area out there, and so whatever, I'm all for looking at all the different options. But the bottom option is it has to be someone that we can guarantee is going to keep those fields in pristine condition, and that's where I miss Al so much, because he would fight for this. So we'll have to fight for him to make sure we don't lose the integrity of that complex.
And Dave's analysis is correct. I mean, these have been loose conversations now for some time, and I know even on behalf, I meet with our buildings and grounds staff every couple of weeks with community ed. We're always looking at what's next coming up, and it is really challenging to staff, the seasonal staff, even just within our school district. And so all of a sudden now we're at a school, we've got dandelions growing out, you know, and then we're trying to keep those in nice looking order too. And so being able to staff that, I think the area of commonality that we found some of the most commonality is like the painting for the community ed. We bought a painter that's a robot painter that runs off a GPS, and so it doesn't make any sense for the city to buy one and for FLA to buy one and the school district to buy one. It's not a cheap investment, but it really does a really good job and saves us a lot of man hours to be able to have that robot. So we do partner with the city to be able to get those done, and with FLA to get the fields done off of school premises. So I think it's worth an exploration to see how we can do that, but it's a complex math problem.
And to your point, Karen, I mean, I think everybody's goal in here is to keep not only Fenway in pristine shape, but to improve the other fields too, to try to come up with a better way to make sure they're always getting mowed once or twice a week, and to make sure that they're drug and chalk just pristine for games. So when kids from other schools come out here and they play at Name Your Field, you know, it's a aesthetically pleasing field, whether it's a irrigated field at Fenway or a non-irrigated one that's still manicured nicely and looks good. So I think that's the goal of everybody in the room, is to have great fields to play on. It's one of those things that I think this whole changing of how we do things probably opens up a lot more massive conversation going forward too. So I think we don't want to get to that point right away. We want to just figure out part of this, but maybe how this is all going to plug into long-term, how the city with a capital C maintains, you know, athletic complexes throughout the entire school district, city, everything. because we all use them. It's just because it's a city park or a school district field, I mean, residents are using both of them the same, so we might have to look at just how we look at it differently.
They don't use Fenway that way. They don't, public just doesn't go out and use Fenway, do they? No. You can't
Residents
just,
do, yeah.
I mean, you could, like, inquire at the city
You
to.
just have to schedule it.
Yep.
To utilize it, but it is locked, yeah, because people were having their dogs and bikes and all kinds of stuff on the fields, and
not
it's
good.
not good if your kid's
Not
diving
good.
for a ball.
Not a good idea. We're gonna scratch that
That
idea.
would be bad, yeah. But like, I mean, you've got the playground and the pickleball courts and all of that stuff, you know, at Fenway too, that people are always using.
Yeah, but not the fields themselves. They
Right.
can't just call up and, or run out there one day and,
The pickup game, they need to schedule it.
Yeah, they can, if FLA does not have it blocked out on the schedule, a resident or even non-resident can reserve field time.
okay.
That, enough direction then, Dave, for you?
The direction is to explore all options. There you go. The direction. Work with the school and FLA and city staff to come up with a bunch of different options and try to find consensus, maybe between the group, and then present that back to the commission. That
Okay.
sound about right?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay.
Again for
Can I
coming.
make my comment that
Thanks.
I was gonna make? Okay, so next weekend, not this weekend with Memorial Day, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have the 35th Annual Fast and Furious Tournament out at Fenway and the high school and Columbus.
Oh,
So there's 58 teams that are gonna be, so maybe if you don't wanna go to Quick Trip, if you can go somewhere else to get gas, because it's gonna be crazy there. Probably a lot of restaurants and stuff too. Starts at 5:30. I know the police come out and they put no parking signs because it is bananas out there. You're parked all the way back to Team Vantage. I don't think you can park on Fenway,
wow.
actual Fenway Avenue, right? You can't park out there, but
You're not
It-
supposed to.
people try to find very creative places to park. The hockey arena is being used at that time too for their stuff, and they get mad when we have all these people out there. But it's a great tournament, really well run, but 58 teams are coming to our community. I mean, some of them are fast pitch teams, but a lot of them are not, so we try to put on a great tournament. And I just wanted to, if you wanted to brave your way out to Fenway to see what happens out there, we will be there.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah,
Thank you, good luck.
yep, thanks.
Yeah.
Staff updates.
Got a bunch of them from Kyle here. Memorial Day service coming up on Monday down at Lakeside Memorial Park. The program here is from 9 to 10 o'clock. Posting of colors, commander remarks, music, and rifle salutes. So if you'd like to attend that, that's from 9 to 10 on Memorial Day. We aren't going to meet until after the first Arts in the Park, so reminding everybody, Arts in the Park starts on June 3rd. Kyle will be reaching out to the commissioners to invite them to come and sit with him at the tent, the city's tent, to experience Arts in the Park if you're interested. So look for an email from Kyle probably next week with that. And the only other update is Castlewood or Foursome will be here next week to give an update on Castlewood, give an overview of Castlewood. As you may or may not know, their agreement is coming up at the end of this year. Kyle and Foursome have been working on a agreement extension. They also are looking at some capital work that's in the park dedication fund over the next few years. They have one scheduled for this year that they'll present for that and show you what they're proposing to have done out there. So just a lot of Castlewood stuff for one section of the Parks Commission meeting. Feel free to go out there anytime you want. It's a city building. If you want to check out that clubhouse, check out the simulators, take a look at that if you haven't been out there. It's worth your time just to kind of see how that operation's going out there too.
Did you have anything from Kyle? How has that been? Has that been extremely busy, or people aren't aware that it's there yet, or the simulators, have they been used a lot?
They've been used quite well. So I don't know if you know how the contract goes, but we guarantee them $50,000 in profit every year for running the golf course, and anything at over 50, the city splits with them. And this is the first year, or it's been slowly climbing, but we actually got a check back from Foursome this year.
Great.
So it's over the last 5 years since they've been here, they've been slowly increasing profits, and now it's actually a revenue generating amenity at the city.
Nice space.
Yeah. So it's a nice amenity.
Dave, you said next week, is that next commission meeting at Castlewood will be here?
Oh, yeah, sorry, next commission meeting.
Okay.
They'll be
Alright.
here.
All right.
That's all I have.
Okay. Parks and Commissioner updates. Anybody have an update or any items?
No, just been
No?
anxious to see how Arts in the Park will all fan out. And did we get a copy of the entire list of performers? Because I don't remember ever seeing that, but then I'm old and I forget a lot.
There's a post on Facebook that the city put out there. I shared it out there, but I don't think there's anything that's printed or anything.
I can certainly email that out to the commission if you guys would like. I've kind of getting social media posts out there, so as you see them, if you could share them, that'd be great, just to help spread the word, but I'm happy to email that performer list out to the commission.
Appreciate that. And then what was really helpful when you're out there, to have the city make just a small little paper that some of the commissioners and whoever wants to be out there, it's kind of nice to have them in your hand, and you can go talk to the people that are around there, and they love having that list. So they know when for sure they want to come or get a group together or whatever.
Sure.
So they've done that before, and I was hoping that maybe they could do that again.
Yeah. Pass that along.
Thank you.
Dave, one question for you is, like last meeting, we had a few items where we recommended to the city council certain things.
Yep.
What is the procedure then for reporting back that what the council did or
Oh,
didn't
yeah, I
do
should
with?
report that back, right? Well, it's Kyle's job to report that back.
Sure.
But he's way up north.
Is that something under staff updates and future meetings then?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So for the Manor Park, it was unanimous. They voted in to approve that project. What was the other one that we sent for? Oh, the other one was just fee waiver, wasn't it?
The who?
Yeah, fee waiver.
But yeah, Manor Park, they all thought it was a great choice, and we're looking forward to getting that going.
Okay. Yeah, the other, I think, was a cell phone tower.
Oh, yeah, so that one's kind of a weird one. They approved to be able to let them apply for the CUP. So they didn't approve the pole, they just said that Parks Commission recommended, and then City Council approved them to be able, or recommended them that they could apply for the CUP. So there's more steps there. So staff have meeting with them coming up, so you'll probably weigh on that again once the application comes through. I think they were looking for the first round to see if you were absolutely against it, and that would have probably squashed their application, so.
Did they talk about where that pole was gonna, I wasn't at that meeting.
There was
Did
a
they talk
photo.
about where it was gonna be located at? I knew it was Colencamp, but on the very edge or
It's
something.
tucked kind of back where the playground is, but way farther back in that back corner is where they proposed it. So it'd be the northwest corner.
If you pull up the agenda from last month, there's photos in there,
Okay, I'll look at that.
so. But appreciate that follow-up, that, then we just don't think things went to a black hole and disappeared,
Yep.
so.
Were we also waiting for the gentleman on the Headwaters playground area?
Yeah, so he reached out to staff and said he's gonna need more time to come up with a plan. So I think he heard you loud and clear that you wanted to see a better product, and now he has to kind of redesign some stuff. So he just told staff that he needed a couple more weeks to put something together.
And people are still asking me, they love the sign. That was another thing on my thank you thing, and to Kyle as well. Just putting up that sign at Belts made everybody feel happy. It's just like, wait a minute, it's just not gonna stay like that forever. So now that they're all happy, they ask me, when is it gonna start? And I know we talked about the foundation part was gonna be first, and nothing with the playground would be till September, is that still true?
Yeah, I should have added that in my staff update. So I'll go back to my staff updates. Staff update, Belts Park, we had a pre-construction meeting today with the contractor to do the site work. They're waiting to get the watershed permit. They've been hung up on that, even though they're not really doing much for watershed work, but, so they've been given, the contractor has got the bid, they've given the go-ahead to work, but they can't start till estimated June 16th. They have to wait for one more watershed meeting to get the approval to start work. So phase one is the site work that'll add all the ADA sidewalks, redo the sidewalk along South Shore, the trail going from South Shore to the new playground. All that'll be done between June and July, and right now it's scheduled August. The playground will get installed.
That'd be better than September.
Yep, so it kind of got slid back because of the watershed pushed the contractor back, which now pushes back the playground, but, and then Manor Park will start in August and then be done hopefully in late September.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else? Okay, once again, apologize, I was late here tonight, and thank you, Karen, for
No, you didn't,
taking the hammer.
you didn't get fired though, so. You're back at it, I know.
All right, how about a motion to adjourn then?
So move.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Cookie this time. We gave you hell.
Yeah.